Colours mean different things to all of us. In Scotland, people place meanings on orange, green and blue. These are the particular colours that are related to sectarianism and to particular teams and organisations such as politics and religion, two areas historically controlled by men. Even in present day, sectarianism still gets associated with typically male behaviours connected to alcohol-fuelled, football-related violence. Women are absent, silenced, or their experiences are misrepresented and marginalised.
I acknowledged sectarianism for the first time when me and my best friend went to different schools. I was a wee girl in primary 6 and I was playing netball in the school team. Our school's netball court was being repainted, so we went to St Pat's Primary School in Kilsyth for a training session. My friend was in our class and we were told not to disrupt, but her friend waved to me out of her classroom window and I waved back. This caused me getting suspended from the netball team for gesturing to a pupil from another school. Then I got a letter home, and my parents thought it was absolutely preposterous that I got suspended for that. I never played netball again for my school. My mother brought me up in a Methodist Protestant background. I remember being brought up to think, at least subliminally, that Catholics were like the devils. They had idols and figurines, and the Protestants didn't have to do that, and therefore Catholics were not as good. My granddad was incredibly vocal in his sectarianism, but while my gran might have agreed with some of what he said, she just wouldn't have wanted to upset anybody by it, so she just kept what she really thought to herself a wee bit more. My mum is the strongest character in the family and the president of the Orange Hall. She obviously has had a huge influence on me. I keep justifying that it's only a social club, but it's actually not. Now I find that some of the views of people in the Orange Hall are the bizarrest. For example, they would say that Catholics kind of work in it. So, even though I grew up in it, I always laugh about this. I learned the sash by the time I was about 7, but I didn't really learn it. I just knew the words because I heard them. Then I felt that I had to challenge my background, as it's very easy to take on the views unless you actually question your own views. In my first job, I experienced discrimination as a young Catholic woman within the workplace and as a Catholic within my relationships, both as a young person with boyfriends, but also within friendships. I know people who were seen to identify with the Protestant religion, and they experienced discrimination in the workplace too. I was brought up Catholic and I had to deal with people saying to me, "You can't be marrying a Protestant," because my partner went to a non-denominational school, so he was seen as Protestant. His granny was involved in Church of Scotland and there was a big fuss when we got together. Everyone kept telling me, "Oh, this will never work. It will never work." My granny, who lived until she was 99 years old, was looking at my cousin's wedding photographs, who married in a chapel. My granny wasn't able to attend the wedding, so she was pleased to see the photos, but she rushed past the ones in the chapel and said, "Oh, they're lovely," but in the chapel. And then, "Oh, they're lovely." My mother would have been quite horrified if I had married a Catholic, and she would have had to bite her tongue, and she wouldn't have approved. It was better to marry someone who wasn't even religious than to marry a Catholic. My mother didn't say it out loud, but I knew that would have been the view. My cousin was brought up as a Protestant, but she married a Catholic man in the chapel, and she converted to Catholicism because she made that oath to have her children brought up in the Catholic faith. In order to be close to her husband and children's faith, to enable and facilitate their faith, she converted. Because her dad couldn't take them to chapel, which is a whole other feminist agenda, isn't it? You could hear conversations about families or throwaway comments like, "Must be a Catholic. You can tell by how they hang their washing out." North Lanarkshire has a terrible reputation for sectarianism. There's a key quote regarding the support of Congolese immigrants. When they asked local people how they felt about these Congolese immigrants, they went, "Aye, but are they Protestant Congolese or Catholic Congolese?" And that's really accurate to how some people think. I worked in community projects with girls from North Lanarkshire when we visited Northern Ireland. I thought the girls didn't understand sectarianism, didn't know what it was. But these girls wanted to have a laugh and a joke when they went to the ice skating one night in Dundonald. So they were wearing yellow, white, orange, bright coloured skinny jeans which looked like green, white and gold. And they were skating round the ice rink and they thought this was funny. And I was like, "Get off the ice!" On another occasion, I took the group of Scottish girls on the exchange to Protestant areas in Northern Ireland. These girls put wee tricolour badges in their purses and went into McDonald's. The next thing, they came running out and people were throwing stones at the minibus, and I was like, "So what happened?" I didn't realise that they were opening and flashing these badges in McDonald's. I thought that the girls really didn't understand what had happened or what it was all about, so I was trying to explain to them what it meant. For me, growing up in Orange Hall was like a social club, and I didn't realise the issues about it until I was an adult. My partner's a Catholic, and we went to a function in the Orange Hall, and I didn't even think of it as an Orange Hall because that's the place my mum goes to at the weekends. In the beginning of the relationship, my partner was being nice and went along with me, of course. He wouldn't say, "No, I'm not coming." But obviously there are pictures around the hall and King Billy up on the wall. I was away chatting to folk and came back to check up on him and said, "How you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm fine, just been staring at King Billy for the last 2 hours." And then I realised